Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back. It's Jordan here. Today we're going to be working on placing the LEGO Bricklink Designer Program Mountain View Observatory. So it's not as easy as just placing it in the LEGO City like all of the other modular buildings. I've decided that I wanted to create a custom mountain, which will be the tallest peak in the LEGO City to accommodate that set there. We've got the base construction of the mountain started here. Looks pretty good. It accommodates this train track. It's right by the farm. And then we also have a 48 by 48 plate right up top here. So somehow we've got to continue this mountain upward and also place the Mountain View Observatory on top of that mountain. But there's a whole bunch of open space here on the raised platform. Maybe this mountain needs to be larger and sort of go down that way. I'm really not too sure how we're going to do this because that Mountain View Observatory is pretty big. We've got 48 by 48 studs here, but the building is actually 32 by 36 studs. So this is going to be a pretty interesting project, but I'm excited to get started. So when placed on this plate here, there's not much room to build a mountain on either side of the observatory. So I'm already thinking we've got to expand it by using a second 48 by 48 plate. So let's create that. I actually decided to do something rather extreme, but very necessary. So I actually hauled the entire panel over here and also the platform that's going to support the Mountain View Observatory and the new mountain. So that hauled over to my desk here. It's going to be easier to visualize exactly how this is going to be built and make sure everything is lined up perfectly. It's actually pretty cool seeing this over here though. Like, this is pretty big, and I can't wait to see it in its full form. Oh man, it's going to be such a fun day of construction. So we've got the 48 by 48 plate, brick, rock panels, and slopes. Now we're ready to start construction. I think the mountain on the top of the platform is going to be 3 rock panels tall. So I've built quite a few mountains. We've got one over here with like a little trail and a waterfall that services the Ninjago Temple. We got some cliffs in the zoo as well, right against the aviary there. There's a snow-capped cliff edge down here with the Winter Village. And then probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 that have been built and destroyed. So I wanted to treat the Mountain View Observatory mountain a little bit differently. And we're going to do that by adding a road that winds up the side of the mountain. Started constructing the upper portion here, so the road is going to start here and it's going to wind up the side of the mountain. So we've got our first layer done here that's built using all of these different rock panels. They're all topped with the dark gray plate, and then the dark gray plates are staggered here to create the road. And you can see the support structure from the backside here, which is built using all sorts of 1 by 6 yellow bricks and a honeycomb structure. And now we're at the point where we can start using these train supports, and that's similar to how we built this section of the mountain as well. What do you think of the base construction so far? I've added some details to the road, and we've capped off the top of it as well. Let's see all the construction work underneath. And we've kept this as its own plate, so the plates will be separate from one another, because if I make it too large, I won't be able to place it in the LEGO City because there's not a huge hole that I can pop up through to access the LEGO City. So I've decided we better keep it as 2 separate sections this time around. And now we've got to create this one here, and this is where the observatory is going to be, and we're going to build the rock edge going all the way around. So this is just under 3 rock panels tall, so I believe it's 2 rock panels and 2 bricks, and we're going to make this section here 3 rock panels tall, and then the observatory will sit on top of that. So in the end, this is going to be 4 rock panels tall, and it's going to sit on top of this platform. So it'll be, like I keep saying, the tallest peak in the LEGO City. Starting the base construction here using all of my old school train supports and also a ton of the 1 by 6 yellow brick that I found on the pad wall once upon a time. I thought these parts were useless, but you know what? They're coming in super handy with this mountain. Look at that honeycomb. Pretty cool. The top portion of the mountain has been constructed using all of those rock panels, right? Looks pretty good. Piece that together pretty quickly. This grid is going to be nice for when we place the observatory because we're going to be able to build off that and make sure the observatory is stuck right on the top of it. So it's good that we have this rock solid foundation there for the observatory. Let's combine the two halves and see what they look like. They definitely look pretty good when they're side by side. Still have a lot of work to do here with the blending between the two different sections of the mountain, because we've got to place the observatory, cap this off, and then we have to blend in the observatory as well, because it's actually based on the dark tan rock panels and also has all of those green cheese slopes, right? So we've got a lot of work here to try and integrate that and blend it in properly. We've got some blending work that we need to do here as well. We've got a pretty cool idea for this section. This actually isn't going to be mountain. There's going to be something else there, which is pretty neat. So the observatory is going to add even more height to this. So as you can imagine, it is pretty tall. We're going to have to figure out what we're going to do with this stone wall, because the train track goes through here, and then that section of the mountain is going to be up against that. So going to have to blend in this stone wall as well. Also, when we place it in the Lego City, it's going to be right above the zoo. So there's a bunch of rock work that has to be blended in as well from the zoo. But yeah, that's pretty cool. It's got some height to it, and I'm so stoked on this build. It's amazing. You know, when we place things in the Lego City, it always requires huge changes, and the Mountain View Observatory is definitely an extreme case of that fact. This honeycomb is not as neat and tidy, and it's not yellow, it's sand green. So use the sand green 1x6s that I have a lot of, and also a bunch of 2x3 bricks to extend off the other honeycomb. So now we're at the proper height here, and this is a solid foundation that should be able to support the set. So added plate going around the edge here, and this hole is where the observatory is going to sit. So we top the grid with some tiles and also some jumpers just to tack it down in spot. So now the base of the observatory will fit right into the hole like that there. Then just push it down in a few different places to tack it in spot, and let's assemble it and place it on the platform and have a look. Coffee for scale, everybody. You ready to see it on top of the mountain? Boom! It is just huge. That looks awesome. There's still one issue though. The two mountain plates still need to be blended together, so that's what we're doing next. That looks a lot better. Some bricks, some slopes, some panels, etc. Fills in that gap nicely. Still a bunch of blending work that we'll have to do with dark tan and green, just to blend in the base of the observatory there. So the road comes to a screeching halt right there. Started adding more detail to the road with hundreds upon hundreds of small 1x1 elements there. Makes it sort of come alive though. And at the top of the road is this curved staircase that leads to the entrance of the observatory. Originally I thought the road was going to come right up next to the observatory, but I think the staircase is just perfect. Note that this road is only accessible by 4x4 off-roading school buses, so those are the only vehicles that can make it up top here. Now, it's definitely a rugged road, and there's not a whole lot of space to turn around, but hey, you know, I didn't really want to allocate any more space to it than I already have, and I think having the road is definitely a nice bonus, and it's something that I didn't originally anticipate on doing for this mountain. I originally thought it was only going to be on the first 48x48 plate, but now it's on two of them, and you can see it just splits like that there. So yeah, we doubled up the space, and now this is going to sort of creep down that raised platform there. Still got to add hundreds upon hundreds of slopes, so it looks like this, right? Nicely detailed. I will say, though, that I am running a little bit low on the slopes, so I'm not going to be able to do it just like that there. And then this is the base of it, so we're actually going to put something on this ridge here, which will be on the base of these base plates there. What that's going to be at this particular point in time, I haven't quite decided yet, but probably some sort of place where you can sit and relax as you're hiking up this crazy mountain, right? Something like that, and then the train's going to come through there, and the creek. So there is a water feature here on the bottom of the observatory. We're going to continue with that same water feature, and it's going to flow down here and probably come down here as well. Then there'll be a pool of water on the base here, and then eventually the two creeks will merge and then go into the farm area there. That's all we got done today. That's all I've got in me. It took a long time. It's a lot of parts. Like, there are a lot of parts inside this structure, and it was just a lot of time to come up with this one here because this was really obscure and weird. All of these 2x8 plates making this road and sort of mixed in there with the rock panels and the bricks. Like you can see, this is brick built here, then there's rock panels, and this is all brick built here and rock panels. So getting the right mix of that and then having the right support structure underneath to make sure that everything's interlocked, this took a lot of time, especially when you're just building on the fly like I do here in the Lego room. But that is the first portion of this video, or of this series, I guess, of us placing the Mountain View Observatory in the Lego City. I guess it's actually the second video in the series because we built this in a previous update as well. But just a massive build or mock here for the Lego City. In the future, like right away, probably tomorrow's video, we're going to finish this up. We're going to add all the slopes, all the detail. We're going to blend it all in. We're going to finish the road. And then, of course, we're going to place it in the Lego City so we can see it right over there by the zoo, Ninjago area, and farm. I can't wait to do that. It's going to be epic. Everybody, thank you so much for coming on by. Let me know what you think of the placement of the Mountain View Observatory on its own massive mountain here in the Lego City by commenting below, or like, subscribe, and stay tuned for some more great stuff. And thank you so much for coming on by. Farewell.